Hello, Bill Applegate here. Today's lesson we're going to be looking at bar chords. The great thing about bar chords is once you have a shape, you can move that shape around the neck and get different chords. We're going to be looking at bar chords, two different types of bar chords. The first type are going to be ones that have the root on the 6th string. The root will be the same letter name that corresponds with a chord. For instance, this is a G on the 6th string, and this is my G bar chord. Okay? If I move it here, it'll be A. Okay, so when you're done with this lesson, you will actually start to learn the names of the notes on the 6th string all the way up. And then the second part, we're going to look at the bar chords that have the root on the 5th string. For instance, this is a C, this would be a C bar chord. This is a D, this will be a D bar chord. Okay, so first let's look at the bar chords that have the root on the 6th string. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the E chord we already know. Now, for me to be able to bar, I need to be able to use my first finger. That's going to be the finger I'm going to bar with. So if I have a first finger in here, it's not going to work. So what I have to do is switch to these, from 1st, 2nd, and 3rd to 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and then remake my E chord that way. Now when I slide it up, I can use this first finger to bring the open strings up. Okay, it kind of moves. It's like moving the nut up. Okay. That's going to give me an F chord. So here's my E chord, slide it up one, and bar across there with my first finger. That's going to give me my F chord. Now don't think of your bar finger as like a capo where you're getting every string tightened down. It's good to be aware of which strings you're actually barring. So right now I'm just doing the 6th string, the 2nd, and the 1st. So I'm kind of focusing the pressure there. And not worrying about the pressure on these 3 strings. Okay, where these fingers are pressing. Okay, so here's your E. So you move it up 1 fret, you're going to get your F. Remember, between E and F, there is no extra half step. Okay, so E to F are just 1 fret apart. Now between F, G, A, and B, there is going to be a fret in between. So basically, you're going to move your dots here. So you're going to have a G chord. So here's your F, G. Now remember, in the musical alphabet, once you get to G, you start back over at A. So then you're going to have a whole step to A, and then a whole step to B. Between B and C, there is no extra fret, so you go B and then right to C, and C to D, and D to E. So E is going to be, this is going to be exactly an octave higher than this E chord. Okay? So you're going to need to become real familiar with all the note names on the 6th string. Now, when we're talking about the sharps and flat chords, if you're on F and you go up 1 fret, that's going to give you your F sharp. Also, if you're on G and you go down 1 fret, that's going to give you your G flat. So this chord can be either F sharp or G flat. Same sound, different name, okay? Either F sharp or G flat. Here's your G chord, right? Here's your A, so A, G, G sharp, or A flat. A sharp, or B flat, okay? B flat and A sharp are the same sound, different name, okay? C sharp, D flat, D sharp, E flat. Okay, now just taking this G chord, remember if it's called a G chord, it means G major. Okay, so this is a G major chord. we've shortened it to just say G, but when somebody says a G chord, they mean G major. When they say C, they mean C major. Okay, to make a G minor, all you have to do is lift your second finger. Now notice here I do have to add some pressure here to that third string to get that note to come out clearly. You do see people doing this. I think that's a bad habit, so probably avoid that. Okay, so there's your G, there's your G minor. If I move it here, it's A minor, okay? B minor, B flat minor, okay? F sharp minor, G minor. Okay, let's go back to our G major. If I want to make it G7, all I need to do is lift my pinky. That becomes G7. Here would be a C7, D7, okay? F7, G7. Okay, let's go back to G major. Now, if I lift my second finger to get G minor, I lift my pinky to get G7. If I lift them both, I get G minor 7. Okay, this would be A minor 7. Okay, B minor 7. A minor 7. F minor 7. G minor 7. Okay, now that we've looked at the bar chords that have the root on the 6th string, let's look at the bar chords that have the root on the 5th string. So just like on the 6th string, you'll need to learn the names of the notes going up the 5th string. So we're going to start with our A chord. Now, just like with the E chord, we need to free up this first finger. So to do that, we switch to the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Okay, and then if we move it up a fret, do our bar. And this is probably one of the most difficult bar chords at first, because remember, here at this part of the neck, the frets are further apart. So if this chord is hard here, try it down here at first, okay? Because the further up you get, the closer the frets get together. So anyway, that would be a B flat. There would be our B chord. Say A, B flat, B. Remember, between B and C, there's no half step, so there's our C chord. And you can just kind of use the dots here to help you. C, D, E. Between E and F, there's no half step, so there's your F, there's your G, there's your A. This will be exactly an octave higher than this A. Okay, and then the same way, here's C, C sharp, right? D, D flat, okay? D, D sharp, E, E flat, F, F sharp, G, G flat, G, G sharp, A flat. Okay, just like the chords over here on the 6th string, we can make some minor adjustments to get different chords. So here we have our C chord. To make it C minor, you're going to lift your second finger, move these two over, and then put your second finger here on the 2nd string. So here's C. C, we call it C, but it means C major. Here's C minor. Okay, back to C. Now if I want to make a C7, I can lift my second finger, move my third finger over a string. This will be D7, right? F7, G7, E7. Okay, now if I take my C minor, lift this finger, move these two over, okay. I want to make it C minor 7, all I need to do is lift my pinky. So this is C minor, this is C minor 7, this is C7, okay. C, C minor, C7, C minor 7. Okay, now once you start mastering these, we're going to look at some little chord progressions you can use to help you learn them even better. Okay. So I have a book that you can get that has a lot of these progressions in it that really help you learn these bar chords. I'm going to go over the first progression, and I'll post some of them on my website if you want to get them there. So what I recommend for a rhythm when you're first doing these is kind of a down, up, just down and up, but lifting your hand on beats 2 and 4 for that half a beat, because it's when you're first doing these, it's going to be a little physically difficult, so this will give you a little break. So what I'm meaning here is, so I'm going to do a mute there and then up clean, so it's going to be down, up, mute, mute, up, down, up, mute, up. And when you do that mute, really let your hand relax, okay, so you get that little break. That's going to make a big difference. The endurance in these at first can be difficult, so what I would do is during your practice session, do it for a little while, and then go on to something else, give your hand a break, and then come back to it. Okay. Be careful not to overdo it on these, because you can hurt your hands. So. A lot of people will mute, like when you're muting open chords, they'll kind of palm mute like that, which is really cool. But for these bar chords, especially at first, give your hand a little break. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and play progression 1. I'm not going to do the repeat, and go from there. Okay, so here's progression 1. Pinky to get to F7. B flat's right there on the same fret. It's the A chord moved up. Back to F. C7's going to be on the 3rd fret. Back to F. C7. Then you would repeat. Okay. Now if it's really stressful down here in first position, just move everything up. Move it. You can do it in 5th position, same chords. Okay, let me do that for you once. It's physically easier here because the frets are closer together. Okay, so I hope this will help you. Getting started with bar chords, they're very useful. Getting, especially getting flat, sharp chords that you might need. And remember not to overdo it. Okay, try to give out, and then using that strum with the break really helps. Okay, so don't overdo it. And I hope this is useful. So see you next time.